Okay, that song you've heard like 2 times now. That's famous. That's the British Grenadiers March. They used to play that as they walked into battle. Kind of weird, I know. Very different time, huh? All right, so what I want to do is wrap up the road to revolution as we're heading into the war here. And the last thing that you should have in your binder that needs to be filled in is this part down here that says the shot heard round the world. What is it that people actually hear around the world when this war starts? Okay, it's not like it's a guy that suddenly this man over in China hears a gunshot and dives for cover, like dives into a ditch. No, he does. That's not what it means. Okay, instead, one day people will hear about the American Revolution. They will hear what the revolution is all about. They were going to want the same kinds of things themselves. So it really begins an age of revolutions. The first of which was the French Revolution that started only about 6 years after ours ended. And it continues with many more. Okay, so here's what the war it's really this. It's a message about what this war is about, okay? It's not about just taxes, all right? It's not about just an unhappy people that wanted to revolt. There's more about this thing. Okay, I apologize, but this little nugget of paper right here, that's not enough room. You're going to need to probably write and continue on to something else. It's not a lot, but this is just, I just like left this really, really short. Okay, so first of all, number one, the American Revolution is about power, right? Haven't we been talking about this? Going back to the beginning. How much power do we want government to have over our lives? That's the question. And it's the same kind of question people talk about today. And think about it. We have an election coming up this November, and it's really, really important. People feel very strongly about it, and it deals with power, the power of one side or the other to do what they would like to do for what they see the country should be doing. It's no different back then, except it was dealing with a king and a parliament 3,000 miles away. How much power should they have over us? Okay, so Revolutionary War is about power, which of course included this look at the rights of the people. And these are things that you're going to see in the Declaration of Independence. The strong sense of rights that people had in 1775 is the same as it is today. It might be different issues, but for them, it was the power of the government to tax and make people do things that they felt were breaking the law. That there had been rights that went all the way back to Magna Carta, right? That guaranteed certain things that a king and a government could not do. And remember what Magna Carta was about. The king and a government, in this case parliament, are not above the law. All right. The second thing that the American Revolution is about, it's about ordinary people. Back then, the feeling was that only people who had like an educated or came from an elite background were the ones that would be able to govern a country, like kings, born into these royal wealthy families. People, the officers in the British Army, many of them came from noble aristocratic families. Okay, so this revolution is saying no, that's not necessarily true. That ordinary people like you and me can understand government, and that we can actually choose a government for ourselves. We can govern ourselves. That's what makes our government unique in world history. It was the first of its kind, a total experiment that regular people would be able to do this. And we have. We have since really 1775, if you think about it. Okay? So that's what the shot heard round the world is. And when people hear about those things, they want it too. Okay, on to the American Revolutionary War animated, the final part of this lesson.